Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And what a glorious morning that it is, darling. We are here on the very first day of 2023. For those of us who are still here to see it, for those of us who made it, for those of us who are embarking on a new year, new me mentality, honey, okay, let's talk about it. Because I'm Big Meach, and this here is a Big Meach Moment. I'm going to try not to be before you long. I'm just getting in from one of the donut factory gigs out there, and I got to get ready for the other. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to, let's see if we can lay down a foundation as we start off the new year. And I'm sure everybody has heard all of the things, honey, all of the things, okay? With what's going on, new, like I said, new year, new me. I'm putting 2022 in the past, and y'all know how we do when it's time for a new year. Like automatically, it was going to happen simply because the stroke of midnight. It tickles me because New Year's Eve happens to be the only time that we actually look at a clock and do a countdown and think that just because that clock struck midnight and it's a brand new day, that all of a sudden that the world just changed. So, oh, it's a new year and everybody's thoughts and carrying on really is going to change like instantaneously, right? And we all buy into it. We go out, we party, honey. It's this is the end of the year and blah blah blah. And that's cute. It really is cute. And it's lovely propaganda. But let's get into it because, like I said, this is the one time that we look and count down and think that just because we said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year, that we click the light switch on, and then everything about the last 24 hours and the last year now is just going to disappear because you instantly have this new idea, this new sense of self, this new sense of everything. And it's good in theory, but what about its practicality? What are you going to do to execute it? You know what I'm saying? When you look back over the previous year, let's look back over the last 365 days. What did you accomplish? Okay, what was your to-do list? What was on the to-do list that you got done? What's on the to-do list that didn't get done that you need to pull over and bring over to the new list so that you can stay forward and moving? What did you learn about yourself last year that you're going to apply this year so that you know what works and what doesn't work? You understand? And it's not as easy as a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 Happy New Year countdown. You understand? It requires some things. It requires some dedication. It requires commitment. It requires discipline. And I'm talking to myself here because there are some things that should have been done that wasn't. There's some things that could have been done that I didn't do. And then there's some footwork that needed to be done that I've got to, make happen. I've got to be disciplined enough to make some things happen. Now, I don't do New Year's resolutions and stuff anymore. When I was younger, I did, of course. But now I've come to this whole thing of, number one, I have a motto. I use a motto for the year, and I try to stick with it all year long. But y'all know, usually around about April or May, it goes out the window because we don't discipline ourselves enough to revisit. But my motto this year is making my dreams a reality in 2023. Okay? And I spell reality REALI-TEA because y'all know I'm all about dishing tea. Okay, dishing tea. So my brand is all about tea, honey. It's all about the tea, right? So everything is trying to push me and my brand and everything forward. So we've gone to the reality of things, So now what does that mean? Okay, making my dreams a reality in 2023. Okay. What does that mean? That means that we have to now shake the dream. It's one thing to have it. It's another thing to where when you look at it and examine it for its practicality, the realness of it, what are pipe dreams and what are things that are absolutely reality. You know what I'm saying? We got to really sit down and be like, listen, I can handle this. I can do this. And then what are the steps that we're putting in place to make it happen? See, oftentimes, like folks who want to say, okay, I'm about to lose weight, and we start an exercise program. We go and, you spend all this money for a gym membership that you only go maybe a month and a half. Then all of a sudden you never got the time anymore, or I'll get to it. And the first time that you miss going and break your routine, the first time was always the hardest time. Everything else is easy after that. Okay. How many of you have said that? Okay, you're not fucking with these folks no more, and I'm cutting these folks off. You do it every time on Facebook. I'm finna get ready to purge my Facebook list. If we ain't talked, I'm Xing you off and this, that, and other, right? But what do we really do? Okay, new year, new me. Is it really a new you, or are you just repackaging old shit? Only thing is new with the packaging, honey. Okay, and I'm talking to myself as well. So this I'm not trying to read anybody or whatever, because basically this is a message to me. This year I would be 53 years young, honey, and I'm getting there. You know what I'm saying? We made the steps. We made steps to get to where we're trying to go, right? And now, it's time to do more. We got to do more. We got to do more, because you have to keep walking. Once you take the steps, you got to keep walking, because if you take enough steps, you become to the point where you get too far away from the starting point to where it doesn't make sense to turn around and go back. You need to keep going to see where the end is going to be. Have y'all ever been places where you've seen, like, out in like, if you ever walked anywhere, and when you get too far, when you turn around and look back, you too far back to see where you started from, but you don't know where you're going, but you got to keep going, because I'm too far to do anything now. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes that. So now we just got to be practical with the movement, practical with the work, not being afraid of the discipline that's required, not being afraid of the work, not being afraid of the lessons that's going to come through it. So I'm going to tell you what it is. Oftentimes we become afraid of, I won't say failure, because failure is not necessarily what we're afraid of. We're afraid of losing. Ah, we are afraid of losing everything, because if we hold on to stuff, we don't want to take risks and things, the necessary risks. Sometimes we take a risk and we realize, oh, this wasn't the right opportunity. And a lot of times we don't know how to recover, because sometimes the risk was a healthy risk. You've invested money and carrying on, and you lost a lot of money or whatever the case may be, and you have to start over. And a lot of us feel as though that loss is what we're afraid of. It's not necessarily the failure, it's the loss, because that means I done invested so much and we've gotten so far to where if I lose everything, I start back at zero, and then I have to rebuild. And it took me so long to get here, to raise the money and the capital and this, that, and the other. And I don't know what to do. You understand? A lot of us are afraid if we go too far that the investment may be too high. A lot of us, how many of y'all have gone out on a limb and you sacrificed your rent money, you sacrificed your utility money in order to try to make something happen? Or better yet, no, let me get real. How many of us have done that to take a vacation with our girlfriends and carrying on, knowing you couldn't afford to go, but bitch, you wanted to go and you was gonna make it happen. So what did you do? You gambled your rent money and or your utility money and say, bitch, okay, whatever happens, happens. And then you come back home and thinking it was going to be a cute little fix. Oh, I could put it back. I could put it back. And then you find out you behind the 8 ball, and now they threatening to evict you. They threatening to turn off your lights. Your phone done got turned off. Okay, or whatever. So now you're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, borrow money here, trying to sit down and get it together. But the priorities was in the wrong place, because this is what I teach my kids, and a lesson that I had to learn. You don't put party over priorities. You understand? So when you learn that lesson, then it's like, okay, bitch, no, let me take care of my business first. And then what's over is what's going to go in the play money bill. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of thing. So here we are. Now we're talking about getting dreams accomplished, doing the things that you said you wanted to do. How is it that we make that happen? For those of you who want to get businesses started, those of you who want to go back to school and learn a new skill or a trade or whatever, how do we make that happen? You're afraid to get student loans because you don't want to be in debt to anybody. Trust me, that was my thing. I didn't want to go back to school because I didn't want to take out any loans. If I can't get no Pell Grant or whatever, that's a grant and I ain't got to pay it back, that I didn't want to go back to school. Well, I had to, because now being of a certain age, now you can't go to school without the loans and the Pell Grant, because you get some money, but you got to get the loans. Do you know what I'm saying? And so now here I am, $75,000 in debt, and that's just for my bachelor's. Ha! I'm looking to go to get my master's, okay, which is another $35,000. If I go to the same school I went to, okay, but it becomes, what does this mean? You understand? Me sacrificing that and going into debt, will the end justify the means? You understand? Will this propel me to get me into the next step, into the next level? Making my dreams a reality in 2023. My mission statement, this is what else I want to teach y'all. My mission statement, because I don't do New Year's resolutions. I want to write down a mission statement because I want to see myself as a business. We are TCB and y'all, taking care of business. And every business has a mission statement. Why? Because the mission statement defines and outlines the purpose of the business. It outlines what your purpose is. What are you planning to do? What are you serving? You understand? So what is your mission statement for 2023? What do you want 2023 to serve you with? Huh? That's there is where it is. And I know I said this before, and you're going to hear me saying this throughout the year. My girlfriend and sister friend, Miss April Mason, planted a seed with me when she was teaching her sons this. She went to the grocery store, and she was doing a live because she said, damn, I didn't realize how out of touch I've been, because, you know, since the lockdown and carrying on, she's been Instacarting and carrying on. So she will order her groceries and they will send it out and carrying on. Okay. And when she went in, she said, when the chicken wings, a bag of chicken wings cost $30 damn dollars. She said, Lord, I didn't realize I was this far out of touch with being in the grocery store. Chicken wings are $30. And then she was down the sauce aisle because she was going to get some spaghetti sauce. And she tickled me because she said 99 cents. 99 cents. She said, ain't nothing in here healthy. And that tickled me so badly. And then this is the jewel. She says, I'm teaching my sons to keep their money up so that you can always buy what you want versus having to buy what you can afford. She said, you have to be recession proof. That is all in my fucking crawl. Ever since she said that on that live, that has been just, you know how you step and get a splinter in your foot and you can't step right because every time you step, you hit that. That has been the crawl in me to want to be recession proof, to where I buy and able to afford what I want versus having to always depend on buying what I can afford. Understand? So how do we do that? How do we get there? Right? How do we get there? That's the mission statement for 2023. Preparing and planning and rebranding myself, my attributes, everything about me to be recession proof. To where anything that goes on in this economy, I'm able to handle it. to where I'm not just necessarily worried about, oh, I can't afford to buy this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I may be pissed I had to pay more money than before, but that's not a worry for me. You understand? That is what my goal is, to get myself in alignment to where the bank account is saying one thing and this is saying another thing, having multiple income streams to come in to where that money can sit and gain the interest. This money can pay the bills. This money can be, bartering money or investment money and things of that nature, because I'm looking to be a property owner. I'm looking to have my own home. I'm looking to have a business. I just see myself in a building with my oils and the sensuality, fragrance oils and carrying on, the stuff that we got going on, merchandising, dishing tea, because we got shirts and things, we got the merchandise, so we can brand the brand. So, this is what this is. And I'm talking to me and I'm sharing all of this because I need to kick in the ass as well. Now, y'all know 2022, I have a number of successes, thank God. But 2022 has been a fog for me because I walked through it, because y'all know I lost my mom in 2021, November. And I lost my son in July. So, and then of course, y'all hear me say this all the time. And I have been in such a fog to where I've gotten some things done, but I've been existing in the fog, you know? And it's so interesting that I'm using it as an analogy because just today, going to the donut factory and carrying on, this damn fog was so thick. And it pissed me off because when I started driving, and I'm driving at night, at first I was like, "Ooh, okay, it's foggy. I can handle it, right?" But then when I got into traffic and it started to billow, right? It's billowing. And if it were not for the lights in front of me, the cars having their lights on, the visibility was dim. Okay, and I could maybe see a foot in front of me, and that's it. Okay, because that's how thick it was. And then when I saw the lights of the other cars, that's when I knew. And y'all know I got a heavy foot. I'm a lead foot by trade, and it's in the DNA, honey. My parents were, and so I had to reduce my speed and this, that, and the other, because now I'm trying to, work with the traffic and then make sure I'm in my lane, because damn it, folks got their bright lights on and things, and I don't necessarily have night blindness, but baby, them bright lights hit me and I can't necessarily see, completely anymore. So I had to slow my speed down so that if I get hit with that bright light, honey, I'm not panicking because my foot is on the accelerator, you know. Um, so we're there. Then, as I got adjusted to it, you know, Iyanla Van Zant said this one time. She says that her obstetrician said this to her, that your eyes will adjust to their level of deficiency. Your eyes will adjust to the level of their deficiency. So you may think that you're seeing clear or clearly, when in all actuality, darling, if you got cataract or something is blocking the vision, then you're going to adjust to what you can see. You understand? And the fog is one of those things that did that for me driving. And as I'm saying to you, that 2022 was me in this fog of depression, of this, that, and the other, which I'm still working my way out of. And I ain't through yet. I'm working my way out of it. That's why I talk about it so much, so that I can get to that goal to where I'm like, okay, let me break free so that I can maneuver. You understand? That there is that analogy, because in that fog, my eyesight adjusted to my deficiency. Okay. To where, yeah, I think I'm doing something, and I got a number of accomplishments, but the bigger picture still has to be done. You know what I'm saying? You still got to get to the bigger picture and get the rest of the things done, and the rest of the goals, and the fire and the chutzpah to get the discipline, to be disciplined, to do what you have to be do to say what's needed. I know I've got to drop 90 pounds, okay, over this depression and carrying on. And when I was in school, the first 60, I gained over 3 years, okay, 20 pounds a year. I gained eating candy, trying to stay up because I was burning the candle at both ends of the stick and I wasn't sleeping. So I started chocolating and carrying on, trying to stay awake, and carrying on because I couldn't drink coffee and all that. Still can't. But that's where the first 60 pounds came. Okay. The lockdown gave me 15. The other 15 came from depression. Okay. And carrying on. And my appetite is not what it used to be. It's increased over time, but I still don't eat the way that I used to, praise the Lord. Because see, this 90 pounds could have been easily 150. Okay. And so now, in knowing that, I've been talking about it. Now it's time to do the work. You understand? Iana says this all the time. You got to do your work, honey. We always say, well, either shit or get off the pot, right? So it's time to do the work. Time to do the work. And so this way, the reality of 2023 is being able to set your mind, get it clear, get your vision clear, come out of the fog so that your eyes can readjust to what is around you and what is in front of you so that you know what your real goals are. Okay? The pit stops are not the destination, babies. Your pit stops are not the destinations. We get caught up in the pit stops and forget that we still got to get to the goal. What are you going to do differently for this year that you haven't done the previous times? You said new year, new me. And that goes for me. Oh, I'm talking to myself, baby. I'm talking to myself. You ain't got to agree with me on this one. You don't even have to say a couple of words. I know I'm talking directly to Demetrius Dennis Taylor, aka Big Meach, aka Samantha Stevens Divinity, and all the other names I go by, Chad. I know I'm talking directly to me with this one. Okay? So now it's time to get the work in place. And now listen carefully. It's not going to be because you said you're going to do it that you just going to automatically get up and just wave a magic wand and it's going to happen. Because you got to now get disciplined to discipline yourself to the discipline. You got to take slow steps in order to make it happen. Okay, just like baking a cake or any kind of recipe. You know what they say, you got to follow the steps. The first thing they say is what? Preheat the oven. Now, how many times do we do that? We don't, do we? We start going straight to the cake mix, don't we? We go straight to the cake mix. And then when it's ready to go in the oven, then we turn the damn oven on, don't we? And then wonder how come either the cake either take too long to cook or come out lopsided or whatever because we ain't had give the oven time to heat up right to whether the heat does circulated. You understand? Boom. Okay, we have to take the steps. And even though we know the shortcuts, there are times where the shortcuts don't work, honey. How many of y'all know that when you cut across the grass, honey, it's cute when you go into your neighbor's house, but you know when it's raining and carrying on, you don't want to step in all that damn mud, do you? So you got to go around the long way, right? I'm cackling because my neighbor does that all the time. We got the sidewalk and things, and usually she'll cut across the grass. But when it's raining and the ground is all soft and muddy, she said, "Oh no, I can't do that. I'm have to go the long way because she likes to wear flip flops and things. So all her feet are exposed, and she don't want to step in the mud. So the shortcut don't work in that regard. You see that? The shortcut don't work. So all the times you may have a shortcut, but it don't always work and it doesn't always apply. Bam. It's just like cooking. You know, when you want your chicken to still be crispy, you can't put it in the microwave when you're trying to heat it up. Now, can you? Shortcuts don't always work, and they are not always necessary or doesn't always apply. Bam. You got to be ready to do the work. I tell folks this all the time. I don't wear long sleeves so that way I ain't got to roll up nothing. It's time to do the work. Ain't no need to roll up no long sleeve. Bitch, I ain't wearing sleeves. Let's go to work. Right? And let me say this, and I'm going to close with this. In your reality of 2023, make sure that the same energy that you give to your friends, your family, your loved ones, your boo, your bae, whatever that is, make sure you give yourself, if not the same energy, double that energy. See, because oftentimes we thinking that we're doing something because we're helping somebody else. Y'all heard me say this before too, the what would Jesus do thing. Oh, I'm out here to be of good help and good assistance to somebody, right? Long as I'm giving and I'm giving, honey, it's better to give than to receive. But where you giving from, honey? Where are you giving from? I read this. Miko Evans, my baby Miko Evans from Meek Productions. He was on live, and someone put in his comments, "This is the year of overflow. This is the year of overflow." And see, one of the things about the overflow is not yours. What do I mean by that? The overflow is just that. That's the resources that you use to give to others. The overflow is where the power come in, where you want to be benevolent and be able to do. The cup is yours. Everything that's in the cup belongs to you. That's the storehouse. If the storehouse is fully supplied, then you give from the overflow. And as long as you have the overflow, then you can be recession proof. As long as you are doing it from the overflow and never from inside the cup. The minute you start giving what's inside the cup away, then you diminish the whole entire thing. You'll never catch up. You'll never put it back. How many of y'all said that, oh, I just go into my savings, honey, I could put that right back. And you think you just took $20. But then because you did it the first time, honey, now you robbing Peter to pay Paul because you did it $20 here. Okay, I'll put it back. But then the next time you take 40 because I got to redo this real quick, right? And I'll put it back. And it never goes back. And then you got depletion, 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 depletion. Let's make this a better year than what we have ever done before. You understand? If it's a new you, new me, what the fuck does that mean? Stop repackaging old bullshit. Just because you got a better bag, a better this, a better that, it's still the same bullshit. Don't repackage the bullshit. If you're going to be new, then be brand new. Okay, don't be new for me. Oh, I like that. Don't be new for me. Okay? Stop working on secondhand newness. Okay, if you're gonna be new, then your mind got to be clear. You can't go to the Goodwill to get a new attitude. You can't go to the Goodwill to get a new set of rules. You got to go brand new. If you're going to invest, let your new me be haute couture. Let all of that be designed afresh. So for all my labor whores out there, let all your newness be haute couture, one of a kind. Don't go to the Goodwill to get the secondhand bargain basics and carrying on. When you're trying to recreate you, rebrand you, reformulate you, if that's what this is, making my dreams a reality in 2023, honey, that there is for me. I'm sharing that with you because I'm talking to myself right now. And I know when I do this on the replay, there's going to be some jewels in here that I'm saying that's going to hit me, that's going to jumpstart me, give me that kick in the ass that I need from time to time. And then we're able to move forward. Take your mission statement, write your mission statement out so that way you can read it. You can always refer to it. Y'all know how when y'all talk about businesses and cannot think about Target and Walmart. What's the first thing that we do when they do something off pocket? Y'all say that y'all got the lowest prices. This ain't no low price. I could get this cheaper over at Target. Y'all supposed to match the prices. That's what y'all things say. Ain't that what we do? Well, let your mission statement be that for you. You said that you want to do X, Y, and Z. You said, so now make it happen. Write your mission statement down so you can always go back and refer to it. Our policy is boom. Write it out. Let that be your mantra every day when you wake up. Put it in the bathroom on the mirror. Put it in the bathroom on the mirror, on the wall. Okay, put it all around you to where you put it in the frame. Make it look cute and put it in the frame, honey. Put it on some real pretty paper. Frame it up so that it looks cute. You understand? Because if it looks cute, it's attractive. You know what I'm saying? Because we gravitate to that kind of stuff. So that it's more than just pretty words. It is absolutely an action. Make it work. Make it work. Make it work. Make it work. And I know for me, honey, I got to be recession proof. I want to be like, I want to have the lifestyle like my friends, honey. I tell you, my sister, April is I love that girl, honey. April Mason. I love her with every fiber of my being. She said something to me, and I had this moment. I've had this moment, and I want to return to it. Because she said, Big Meach. She said, baby, okay. She said, the diva is in concert. And I said, who? She said, Ross, baby, Ross. I said, oh, yes. She said, well, she's in concert in Vegas. I said, yeah. She said, well, my girlfriend and I, we're going down to go see her. She had just bought tickets and booked her flight. And that was going to be her weekend getaway. And she was only gone for the weekend. Just to bump in town to see Ross and came back home. Bitch, that's sickening. Okay. But I've had that moment. I had that moment when I went to go see Patti LaBelle. I was with my girlfriend April Summers, the Patti LaBelle impersonator that Patti endorses, right? We were home in Detroit, and I was working really cutely there. I was in an abundant year that year, right? Oh my God! If I had known better how to treat my money, I could be further than what I am. Because I was at a point to where my tips and stuff, I didn't have to cash my paychecks. I was banking my paychecks and living off my tips. Okay. And I was working security. But where I was, folks were tipping me to watch their cars and carrying on because we had a lot of vagrants and stuff in the area. And they wanted to make sure that I paid special attention to their cars. So, baby, when I tell you, I bought a car off of tips, bitch. Okay. I said this to my mother one time. I said, oh, damn, I forgot to cash my paycheck. She said, what? I said, yeah, I forgot to cash my paycheck because I still had it in my pocket. I didn't have direct deposit, and I had to go deposit it. And she looked at me. She said, Michi. I said, honey. And so, like I say, that was a good year for me. That was 1993. I was 23 years old. No, that was the year. But the year I went to go see Patti was in 99, somewhere between 97 and 99, because I had already lived in New York, and we went to go see her then. It was 99. What happened, April told me, she said, oh, because she called me Samantha because I was doing my shows. She said, Miss Samantha, she says, Miss Patti, honey, is going to be at Carnegie Hall, and she hasn't played Carnegie Hall in years. She said, girl, we need to go see her. I said, what? And I thought about it. I'm single, no biological children or whatever. I said, girl, let's do this, right? So we had got tickets. That's the first time I've been on the plane. Patti got me on the plane. And this, that, and the other. And we bumped. We saw her in Detroit. It's now called the Aretha Franklin Theater, but it was the Shane Park. We saw her there, and then 10 days later, we were on a plane to go see her in New York at Carnegie Hall. That was absolutely fantastic for me to be able to go. And then April pulled the stuff because the dress, one of the dresses that Patty wore in one of her costumes, April had that costume duplicated. And then she wore it when we went to New York. Okay. So when she came in and had the dress on before Patty came out, it was sickening, right? It was just stunning. Um, so uh that's the kind of thing that we like to do, and then a couple of years ago, and this is giving homage to Miss Helena Hologram, I had another one of those moments because Helena called me and she said, sister, I want you to come out and perform at my birthday show. And I said, okay, fine. And when we looked at the dates, I came out, but I had to come back home because I couldn't stay because I had to go to work the next day. So a bitch sit up there was able to get a plane ticket, go to Baltimore, perform, hung out that night with them, and then was back on the plane at 3 o'clock in the morning. I did a complete turnaround, came in, performed, kikied, and hit it. Bitch, that is sickening, right? That is sickening. That's the kind of lifestyle that I want to have, to be able to, I had no worries. That's recession proof. That is all of my, everything. I didn't have no worries. I didn't have to worry about if anything was going to be paid for, whatever that was. That's the kind of living that I need to be in. I need to be enthralled with. You understand? Because the other thing, honey, the other alternative, honey, I've been there before. I know what it is to be in soup kitchens and lines and Goodwill baskets. I mean, yeah, the Goodwill baskets and things, and and going to in Detroit. How many of y'all know the commodity where you get the government cheese and the powdered milk and the powdered eggs? And all? I know what that living is. I've been there. I've been there, and I've tasted what I want. Now let's make my dreams a reality in 2023. Honey, I'm Big Meach, baby, and this here is the Big Meach Moment. Welcome to 2023, babies. Let's do this. Yes.